Every Dog, Every Day, Chapter 2, Ethics of Living with Dogs. The ethics in dog ownership and training are sometimes confusing. I do not suppose ethics are ever straightforward. It's much clearer for me now, after 50 years of walking around this land, than it was when I first started. Always take heed of your comfort bell. If the advice or situation makes your comfort bell start to ring with alarm, then walk away. Your bell should be listened to, and although it may not ring loudly in the first instance, do not ignore it. You have a lifetime contract with this dog. One passing stranger with a face like a smack backside because you've politely asked them to move away because your dog does not like their friendly dog approaching them inappropriately and they have been mightily insulted. It is not worth trying to please strangers at your dog's expense. Just cross the road, step out of the way, or block their dog's approach. There is no ethical justification behind causing your dog distress to avoid upsetting a stranger. We are all reared to be nice to people, and you can still maintain a polite but assertive attitude. No, thank you. Embarrassment is a pressure that shapes the most peculiar and often harmful behaviours. I listen to my clients and hear the confusion delivered from experts that contradict their own common sense and inherited responses. An endorsement of their decision comes as a relief. We should not be trying to make dogs social. We should not be putting them at their expense in a situation where strangers should be able to fondle them. I had a client with a very much adored second-hand dog. Only a small guy, he naturally spent a lot of time jumping up, feet gently reminding her of his presence. She felt very guilty at letting him jump up, as she knew we were not supposed to let him. His feet may sometimes have been mucky, but he was not a flesh digger or causing demand type of feet up. Did she object to him jumping up? Oh no, I like it, she said. Then do not worry about it. Certainly he may need managing when visitors arrive, but if the behaviour is not a problem from you, causing future harm to the dog, or is not reinforcing the dog inappropriately, then the rule is irrelevant to how you wish to live with your dog. Urban life, in particular, walking out with your dog down the road or in the park, is full of conflict for many dogs, and it needs to be handled sensitively, with care and with thought, to avoid a lifetime of stress and unhappiness for you both. Every time you go for a walk, if you are anticipating the conflict that your dog is going to be put into, this walk loses any benefit for the dog. Stand by your dog. They will always appreciate it. They may not be able to express it, but the alternative has no benefit to your future relationship. It only takes one dog. I was fortunate to share 14 years with an amazing dog called Abacab. He was a very talented collie whose entire reason for living was to please me in any activity at any time, day or night. When he was about 12 weeks old, I remember popping him in his crate for his compulsory afternoon nap. If I didn't make him nap, he would spend every waking minute watching me, waiting for activities. This is a collie. I was nearby, probably washing up, and to be able to watch me, he fell asleep, sitting up, leaning on the side of the crate. He only took time off his duty to please me when his eyesight began to fail at 14 years old. I'd only just begun to train him, and a simple transgression of confusing a down with a sit smacked me clean across the face. That epiphany moment had arrived. I clearly remember the location. I used to train in a multi-storey car park in an urban town, which was great for outdoor training with a roof and lighting and many straight lines to walk up and down. Nothing you would do today. And the slap that woke me up was that a dog whose only error was in trying too hard to get it right should be taught how to be right and not punished for being wrong. That was all he asked. What was it that I wanted? The dog training community at that time, 40 odd years ago, had invested all of its time, effort, and energy into learning how to be very good punishers. The training paradigm was to punish everything we did not desire and put the responsibility of finding the correct behaviour on the dog's shoulders. Abacab was keen, intense, and devoted, but bless him, he wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. So by taking the punishment route, he was going to struggle to find the correct behaviours. This was unfair. I began training him with toys and play for the correct behaviours and with careful construction of the skills he needed to be successful. He may not have achieved great heights that his grandsire had done through the punishment and praise route, but he was always exciting to watch, to train and to be with, and I was very comfortable in asking him to compete. It was very common to receive well-intentioned advice on how to school him to more success, greater success, and that was inevitably based on punishment. In later years, after I bought the sheep farm, I met a hill shepherd who described him as having a heart as big as a bucket. How could punishment ever be appropriate for a dog with that sort of heart? The compromise you make for standing by your ethics may make other people feel uncomfortable. Perhaps because it highlights their discomfort in their chosen training protocols. It may take longer, but it is followed by a good night's sleep. His great-great-great-grandson, Time, was my current partner and took me to every place I ever wanted to go. I do not use the term compete anymore, since the challenge for me is to refine my training, be creative and test my skills in a public venue. I do not value performance by rosettes, but only by the way he works, his heart singing as we equally enjoyed the experience. Walk on sunshine, boys. As our knowledge and understanding increases, we can update our ethics accordingly. Today, I do not use punishment because I know how to achieve excellent results in any field without resorting to punishment. But when I did use punishment, it was all that I knew at that time. Ethically, I would not wish to cause my dog stress, harm or confusion when I know how to communicate with effectiveness, pleasure and understanding. It is often unfortunate that a dog may not get any training at all, since the ethical standing of the owner prevents use of the current advice and other alternatives are lacking. Having a wide range of choice of solutions gives our dogs a much higher chance of living a full and content life. If we made those sorts of errors because we didn't know any different, it is not our error that's at fault, it's simply that the available knowledge was not available to us at that time. Take responsibility for your choice. The second element of ethical considerations are whether you are up to the job of rearing a 21st century dog. It is not easy. Society's demands, our work and lifestyles are fast moving away from being dog friendly. Successful rearing takes more knowledge, skills and understanding today, and your lack of competency may be at a cost to your dog. Society is generally less tolerant of dogs, housing is less suitable, and our recreation areas are becoming less welcoming. I am in serious admiration of people who live without a garden, such as a flat or apartment, and keep their dogs fit and content. For 3 months, I lived with my Cavalier in a flat and did not enjoy needing him to go out at 11 p.m. at night, driving to parks at 6 a.m. before setting off to work. I now enjoy the luxury of working and being able to view my dogs at play in the garden, my garden, their space. I work from home. All the dogs, with due consideration to the weather for certain Gordon setters, love their outside time. They love to shoot the breeze, chew the fat, and wonder which chaffinch is having multiple affairs in multiple bushes. It seems an integral part of their contentment, which I wholeheartedly share. In the old days of urban life, I used to pack a picnic and a good book and set off to the woods to decompress, finding a comfortable tree to settle under for a few hours. It was inevitable that I would migrate to country life. It did not take me long to realise that an environment that is dog comfortable is also K comfortable, although my wish list is longer than theirs. Taking responsibility for the choices we have made is part of sharing our lives with dogs. The breed we have chosen, with such skills as guarding, hunting or herding, need particular knowledge and understanding, and that breed may only be able to adapt their skills to certain lifestyles. If our lifestyle is not compatible with their adaptability, then we need to take responsibility for that outcome. The stress to that dog, or the additional work we may need to undertake to keep their level of contentment. In my wonderful dog paradise, I have to carefully consider whether terrier or hound would actually be highly frustrated, because I live surrounded by rats. We have what was a grain store just at the bottom of the garden, and there are plentiful rabbits and foxes around us. They would not be allowed to free hunt, but they would be exposed to the hunting stimulus round the clock. Any working dog will often find employment for their own sanity, and this may not be acceptable to the local school children or joggers or cats. When choosing a dog friend, take very careful consideration. Some of the recent breeds to become available coming into our sitting rooms have no history of living indoors or in urban environments. They are often only 1 or 2 generations from living on the mountain or out in the woods, and the transition can be heartbreakingly difficult for them to achieve. Often, the breeders of these breeds have little understanding of what an urban life for their particular breed or type of that breed would be like. I had a client with a lovely, energetic, friendly Labrador. On further inquiry, this dog was of generations of outdoor bred dogs that had all the admirable characteristics of a good Labrador. But the breeders had no appreciation of how difficult this dog would be to live in a house, and neither did the inexperienced new owners. To be able to watch the evening news, we trained this lovely boy to lie down watching a treat and wait until the news had finished. To say he went several times around a light bulb at the thought of visitors would be an understatement. Despite this superb temperament, great health, he should not have been sold to a home with an indoor lifestyle. His energy levels were designed for the field, for jumping into cold water, and for working all day. This sort of energy was not compatible with sofa life. So not only look for a breed that has a long history of pet dog living, but also is reared in the same lifestyle as yours. Then within that breed, choose a housebred puppy with at least 2 or 3 generations of pet dogs behind them. Even so, those super high energy working dogs, the characteristics can jump 2 or 3 generations. Equally, Cavalier King Charles Spaniels with 100 years of pet breeding is not going to be comfortable living outdoors in cold weather or away from people. You may desire a Cocker Spaniel, but it is neither fair or ethical to buy a puppy from working breeding and expect it to behave as a pet dog and vice versa. You may be lucky and your working dog has at last found the luxury life it has dreamed about. But if you are unlucky, then the frustration level for both you and the dog will be long-lived. Function as a pet dog is as important, if not more, than function as a working dog. Shop by your ethics, not by your ego. I have enormous admiration for people who recognise their lifestyle is not suitable for a dog, but they yearn to have one. I changed my life, my career and my choices so that I could live with dogs. Choose your training advisor carefully. Your local resource in training facilities may not meet your expectations. Many training classes are run by well-intentioned folk who may be regenerating the same material year after year, and this often appears to suit their clients. Visit the classes without your dog to observe and gain a feel for the learning quality. Assess the level of contentment in the room for both dogs and people. Many people enjoy the social aspect of a class, but you must also question whether the dog is benefiting from this interaction as well. Social proximity and interaction for humans is not the same as for dogs. Are the dogs focused on their owners or the other dogs? Are the owners focused on their dogs or socializing with other people? Is the class an ego trip for the trainer or instructor? Does the individual dog and person get the support and help they need? Many of these classes are part of a system where passing of awards and certificates are a ranking system. But do these meet the needs of the individual? Is there someone excluded from the class and training their dog in the car park? If your local resources do not suit, search online and seek for personal recommendation. There is big money behind marketing to pet dog owners. Even in poor economic periods, the pet market is seen as a soft touch. Be aware that marketing through a plethora of certifications and associations is often for the benefit of the certifiers, not for your dog. If you are enjoying this, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe.